You let it go for $300 at a garage sale. Today, it's worth $300,000. That's not a typo. That's the reality of today's shotgun market. Firearms, once treated as everyday tools, are now commanding prices that rival luxury cars. Today, we're breaking down 20 shotguns worth a fortune in 2025 and showing you exactly why their values have skyrocketed. Number 20, Cooey 84 840. The Cooey 84 and later 840 might look like the most unassuming single-shot break action you've ever seen, but that's exactly why collectors are paying attention. Built in Canada from 1948 until the late 1970s, they were chambered in 12, 16, 20, and even 410. Millions of young hunters fired their very first shots with a Cooey, which made them a household name across North America. For decades, they traded for next to nothing, often under $100, but nostalgia has a powerful pull. Pre-1961 examples, especially those with original markings or unusual chamberings, now bring $300 to $600, and pristine models climb even higher. Simple, rugged, and tied to generations of memories, the Cooey 84 has gone from cheap starter gun to a quietly desirable collectible. Number 19, Remington Model 1100, early limited runs. When Remington introduced the Model 1100 in 1963, it changed the shotgun world overnight. This gas-operated semi-auto combined soft recoil with smooth cycling, instantly making it a favorite among hunters and clay shooters. Over 4 million were eventually produced, but here's the twist. The earliest first-run guns and certain limited editions are now bringing collector premiums. Back in the day, these were affordable workhorses, often picked up for a few $100s and carried hard in the field. Today, clean examples from the 1960s can push past $1,000, and pristine boxed sets climb even higher. Their long production run means most were heavily used, so untouched originals are scarce. That scarcity, paired with their historical importance, is what's turning the humble 1100 into a rising collectible. Number 18, Ithaca Model 37. The Ithaca Model 37 is a shotgun with a record no other pump can match. It's the longest continuously produced pump action in history. First introduced in 1937, it borrowed its core design from a John Browning and John Peterson patent, then perfected it with Ithaca's craftsmanship. Its unique bottom eject system makes it fully ambidextrous and keeps dirt out of the action, which earned it a loyal following from hunters, police, and even U.S. soldiers in World War II and Vietnam. For decades, used Ithacas were everywhere and priced accordingly, but collectors are now chasing the earliest pre-war production runs and military-issue variants. Standard examples fetch $800 to $1,200, while rare, documented trench or riot guns can bring several thousand. Number 17, Remington Model 31. Often overshadowed by the later Model 870, the Remington Model 31 deserves far more recognition than it gets. Introduced in the 1930s, it was designed as a sleek, smooth-running pump action that quickly earned a reputation for precise machining. Law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, relied on it for its reliability, and sportsmen praised its buttery action. Chambered primarily in 12 and 20 gauge, it was offered in a range of field and trap configurations. While production numbers never rivaled Winchester or Ithaca, that limited supply is exactly why collectors are now driving prices up. Once a $200 pawn shop find, clean Model 31s now bring $900 to $1,500, with rare, high-grade versions commanding even more. It's the forgotten Remington that's finally getting the respect and the value it deserves. Number 16, Browning Auto 5. The Browning Auto 5, also called the A5, made history as the world's first successful semi-automatic shotgun. Designed by John Browning and introduced in 1905, Its distinctive humpback receiver is instantly recognizable to shooters everywhere. Built in 12, 16, and 20 gauge, it used a long recoil system that was revolutionary at the time, cycling reliably in all kinds of conditions. Millions were produced over nearly a century, yet early Belgian-made examples and high-grade engraved models have become highly collectible. For decades, you could find one for $300 or less, often riding in duck blinds or handed down in families. Today, clean pre-World War II guns fetch $1,200 or more, and rare exhibition-grade pieces can hit several thousand. Number 15, Parker Brothers Side-by-Side. For many collectors, the Parker Brothers Side-by-Side isn't just a shotgun, it's a piece of American identity. Built in Meridian, Connecticut from the late 1860s until 1942, these doubles were considered so finely made that they earned the nickname Old Reliable. Offered in everything from 8 gauge down to 410 and across dozens of grades, each Parker carried the reputation of flawless fit and balance. They were prized by wealthy sportsmen and everyday hunters alike, and their popularity stretched from quail fields to the White House, with U.S. presidents among them. Field-grade models that once sold for pocket change now command thousands, while high-grade small-bore Parkers bring tens of thousands, sometimes well into 6 figures. Number 14, Winchester Model 21 Deluxe Side-by-Side. The Winchester Model 21 has become one of the most coveted American doubles ever built. Introduced in 1931, it was Winchester's answer to high-grade imports, and the company spared no expense in its construction. The deluxe versions in particular showcase beautiful walnut hand checkering and tight-fitting actions that could endure decades of hard shooting. Unlike mass-market pumps and autos, the Model 21 was produced in small numbers, with custom shop models continuing until 1991. That limited production makes every example desirable today. Field grades can start around $5,000, but deluxe or engraved models easily reach $15,000 to $30,000, with rare sets pushing even higher. For collectors, the Model 21 represents Winchester at its very best, a side-by-side built not just to compete, but to surpass its European rivals. Number 13, Winchester Model 1897 Trench Gun Variant. Few shotguns carry the battlefield reputation of the Winchester Model 1897. Designed by John Browning and introduced in the late 19th century, it became infamous during World War I as a brutal close-quarters weapon. The trench gun variant featured a shortened barrel, heat shield and sling swivels, and the ability to mount a bayonet. Soldiers valued its devastating slam-fire capability, where holding down the trigger allowed rapid cycling with each pump. After the wars, many surplus models sold cheaply, sometimes for under $50. Today, authentic military-marked trench guns are among the most sought-after collectibles, commanding $3,000 to $6,000 or more, depending on condition. Their blend of Browning design, combat history, and rarity has secured the Model 1897's place as one of the most legendary fighting shotguns ever built. Number 12, Winchester Model 12, the perfect repeater. The Winchester Model 12 earned the nickname the perfect repeater for good reason. Introduced in 1912, it was a pump-action shotgun that set the standard for smooth operation and rugged reliability. Over nearly 5 decades of production, close to 2 million were made in gauges ranging from 12 down to 410. Hunters, trap shooters, and even military forces relied on the Model 12, with trench and riot versions seeing action in multiple wars. For decades, they were so common you could find them stacked in pawn shops for a couple of $100s. Today, well-preserved sporting models sell for $800 to $1,200, while rare small-bore, pre-war, or military-marked examples can bring several thousand. The Model 12 remains a timeless symbol of American ingenuity, a shotgun built to last forever. Number 11, Theodore Roosevelt's Fox Side-by-Side. Few shotguns carry the weight of history like the Fox Double built for Theodore Roosevelt. Crafted in 1909 by the A.H. Fox Gun Company, this side-by-side was custom-made for Roosevelt's legendary African safari, where he relied on it for everything from guinea fowl to lions. The gun itself was exquisite, with fine engraving, premium walnut, and chambers built to handle the heavy loads Roosevelt demanded. But its true value comes from the story behind it. When it resurfaced decades later, collectors battled to own a piece of presidential legacy, and the final price stunned the firearms world, $862,500. Beyond its craftsmanship, this shotgun represents adventure, power, and American history all in one, the kind of provenance that money alone can't replicate. Number 10. Fabbri Torcoli-Engraved Trio. When it comes to blending fine art with firearms, few creations rival the Torcoli-Engraved Trio from Fabbri. This consecutive set of 3 12-gauge over-unders was hand-engraved by Italian master engraver Gianfranco Torcoli, whose work is world-renowned for its lifelike detail and dramatic style. Each shotgun was crafted with Fabbri's trademark mechanical precision, then elevated into a masterpiece with scenes that belong in a museum as much as in a gun room. Sets like this were never made in volume, making them almost mythical among collectors. At auction, this trio commanded an astonishing $402,500, a price that reflects not only the rarity of consecutive sets, but also the value of Torcoli's artistry. Number 9. Holland & Holland Grifnee Engraved Royal Deluxe Pair. Holland & Holland has long been synonymous with luxury sporting arms, but the Royal Deluxe Pair, engraved by master engraver Philippe Grifnee, takes that prestige to another level. Crafted in London and finished with lavish gold inlays and intricate scroll work, these side-by-sides represent the pinnacle of British gun-making. Grifnee's work is highly sought after, with collectors valuing his pieces as much as the firearms themselves. Offered as a matched pair, the guns carried both elegance and exclusivity, and when they crossed the auction block, the price reflected that. $299,000 for the set. For collectors, this wasn't just about owning 2 fine shotguns. It was about acquiring an irreplaceable collaboration between one of the world's top gunmakers and one of the finest engravers of his era. Number 8. Winchester Model 21 CSMC Exhibition Grade Pair. The Winchester Model 21 has always been admired for its rugged build and elegance, but the CSMC Exhibition Grade Pair shows just how this design can be elevated. Built as a matched set in 16 and 20 gauge, these doubles featured exhibition-grade walnut, flawless checkering, and meticulous hand-engraving. They weren't built in high numbers, and a few have survived in pristine condition, which makes a complete pair incredibly rare. When this set crossed the auction floor, it hammered for $41,500, a figure that reflects both artistry and scarcity. For collectors, owning a Model 21 in standard trim is already a prize, but an exhibition pair represents the absolute peak of American double-gun craftsmanship, a combination of function and beauty that continues to climb in value. Number 7. William & Son Bespoke. William & Son may be a younger name compared to Purdey or Holland & Holland, but in the bespoke world, they've carved out a space that's unmistakably their own. Founded in the late 20th century, the London gunmaker quickly gained a reputation for fusing old-world techniques with modern precision. Their shotguns are not churned out. Each is built entirely by hand, often taking years to complete. Collectors value their settled style, elegant lines, flawless wood-to-metal fit, and engraving that emphasizes refinement rather than flash. Because production numbers are so limited, availability is scarce, and that exclusivity is what drives prices upward. With values comfortably over $100,000, William & Son represents the new guard of British luxury guns, proving prestige doesn't have to rely on centuries of history. Number 6. Westley Richards The Ovundo. Among collectors, few designs spark as much fascination as Westley Richards' Ovundo. Introduced in the early 20th century, it broke with convention by blending the qualities of side-by-side with the advantages of over-under. The result was a shotgun that looked unusual yet handled beautifully. Many were decorated with extravagant engraving and stocked with striking walnut, making each one a showpiece as much as a firearm. Production was limited, and the complexity of the design meant that very few were built to begin with. Today, surviving examples are rare, and when they appear at auction, they command serious attention. Prices between $100,000 and $175,000 are not uncommon, with particularly ornate pieces going even higher. The Ovundo's mix of eccentricity and artistry makes it a true collector's treasure. Number 5. Boss & Company Over and Under. When Boss & Company unveiled their Over and Under in 1909, it was nothing short of revolutionary. Sleek, balanced, and mechanically brilliant, the design became the blueprint for nearly every OU that followed. Each shotgun was hand-built in London by master craftsmen, with meticulous attention to fit and finish. Unlike heavily ornamental doubles, Boss favored a minimalist elegance, fine scroll work, graceful lines, and walnut that spoke for itself. Because production numbers have always been low, finding one in the open market is rare, and prices reflect that exclusivity. Collectors today expect to pay $150,000 or more, with vintage or exhibition-grade models climbing well past that. To own a Boss is to hold a piece of gun-making history, a firearm that's redefined how a shotgun could look and perform. Number 4. Beretta SO10 EELL. Beretta has been building firearms for nearly 500 years, but the SO10 EELL is where the brand shows its most refined craftsmanship. Known as the supermodel of the Beretta line, this over and under is a blend of Italian elegance and precision engineering. Each gun is built by hand, with exhibition-grade walnut, flawless checkering, and deep engraving that reflects the artistry of master engravers in Gardone, Valtrompia. Mechanically, it delivers flawless balance and accuracy, designed for both performance in the field and display in the gunroom. With values ranging from $115,000 to $150,000, the SO10 is one of Beretta's most exclusive offerings. For collectors, it represents both the longevity of the world's oldest gunmaker and the pinnacle of modern Italian luxury shotgun design. Number 3. Purdey Side-by-Side. For over 2 centuries, James Purdey & Sons has been synonymous with the finest British gunmaking, and their side-by-side doubles are among the most revered in the world. First produced in the early 1800s, these shotguns became the preferred choice of nobility, royals, and wealthy sportsmen who demanded both performance and elegance. Each Purdey is built entirely by hand in London, with master engravers and stock makers contributing hundreds of hours to a single gun. They are known for their exceptional balance, understated engraving, and use of exhibition-grade walnut. Collectors prize the timeless refinement as much as the exclusivity, since production numbers are kept low. Today, values range from $200,000 to $300,000 or more, placing Purdey side-by-sides at the very top tier of luxury sporting arms. Number 2. Holland & Holland Royal Deluxe. When it comes to best grade doubles, Holland & Holland stands as one of the most prestigious names in the world. The Royal Deluxe is their crown jewel, built entirely by hand in London with a level of craftsmanship that borders on art. Each gun takes hundreds of hours to complete, with master engravers covering the action in detailed scroll work and sometimes gold inlay. The stocks are cut from the finest walnut, perfectly fitted to balance the gun in the hands of the shooter. While designed for the field, these are more often admired as works of art, with prices starting around $250,000 and rising much higher for unique commissions or historic pieces. Number 1. Fabbri Over and Under Custom. The Fabbri Over and Under Custom is often described as the Ferrari of shotguns, and the comparison holds true when you see what collectors are paying. Each one is built in Italy by a small team of craftsmen, combining aerospace-level engineering and the artistry of fine engraving. Only a few dozen leave the workshop each year, making availability incredibly scarce. Some examples have even been created with meteorite steel, instantly setting them apart from anything else in the market. While these shotguns once sold quietly to Europe's elite, the U.S. market has driven demand to new heights. Values to date range from $250,000 for standard builds to well over $300,000 for bespoke masterpieces. With wait lists stretching years, a Fabbri is an investment in rarity. Now, if you want to push your knowledge even further, don't stop here. Check out our next video where we reveal the most shocking pistol collections climbing in value right now, and decide for yourself which one deserves a place in your kit.